you are going to need your chosen yarn. I'm using these 2 blues. I am going with a 6mm. And besides that, all you are going to need is some scissors. So starting with our base layer, we are just going to make a slip knot. To do that, I hold my thumb on the second finger and I go over to create an X. So on the front, we have one in front, one behind. Under the first, grab the second, pull through, and then you're gonna hold the 2 strings and remove your fingers, and then pull, and you've created your slip knot. Now to start this off, we are going to chain enough to wrap around our whole head. If you are adding a brim, I would add an extra 3 to 5 chains. If you are not adding a brim, it just needs to fit around your head. I prefer the brim, so I will be making it a little bit bigger, and for me that is about 60. But that will differ depending on your yarn, hook, and size of your head. So obviously you're gonna wanna check with your head and make sure it fits the way that you like. I like them a little bit baggier. Again, this is all gonna be up to preference. I'm gonna add a couple more chains, and we are ready to go. Once you're happy with your chain length, we're gonna get right into getting this going. We're going to be slip stitching back into this side, so we want to make sure that this is completely flat and not twisted. So I just like to take my finger along here and make sure. And at the end here, to create a slip knot, all you're going to do is go in that last stitch, yarn over, and pull through that last one. So we're left with a big circle. So now we are going to chain 2. 1, 2. We are going to be working double crochets into every stitch around. So you can see the one that we worked into, there's a hole right there. So we're gonna go over, through that first hole, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And again, as you can see in this next one, we're gonna go in, pull through, and pull through 2. And we just have our last 2 to do. If you're confused by the ending, you want to do it right up to the last chain. So this right here means that we have 1 more to do right in there. Yarn over, through. And now we are ready to slip stitch them together. If you are not changing your color, all you are going to do is slip stitch into the 3rd chain. So 1, 2, 3, into there, yarn over, and chain 2 to start the 2nd row. But I'm going to show you if you are changing color, this is how you do that. You're going to take your needle into that 3rd chain where you're going to slip stitch, but you're going to hold your old yarn over here and you're going to grab your new color. Now all you're going to do is take it over this hook, pull it through, and pull it through that last chain. Now I like to take this old color and give it a tighten, and then take the new color and give it a tighten. Chain 2. The color is added on. For the next row and all the other rows, we are just going to continue that pattern. So we are working a double crochet right into that same stitch that we just did the chain 2. Yarn over 2. And like I said, all we are doing is working the double crochets into every single chain. And here we are coming up to our final chain once again. If you are not changing color, ignore me. But if you are, we're gonna do it again. So we're gonna slip stitch into that 2nd chain, once again holding the color over here. You should have your old color hanging out the back. You're going to grab the long string and do exactly what you did before. Yarn over through that one, yarn over through both. And then I just like to give the old color a pull to make it tight. Chain 2, and once again, double crochet into that 1st chain, and we go all the way around. And as always, coming up to our last chain there, going into the final one, putting it through, change that color, chain 2, and we are on to our 4th round. So I think that makes sense at this point. I'm just doing the exact same thing working up these rows, so I'm going to go away and do that. If you are creating a hat without a brim, I do about 12 to 14 rows. If I'm doing one with a brim, I do about 17 to 18. Again, this will depend on the size hook you are using, yarn, and the size of your head. Just try it on as you're going. So this is how we are looking with a total of 14 rounds. Now again, if you are not doing a brim, this would be about the perfect size. Honestly, maybe a little bit big, maybe a little bit less. Maybe 12. This one's a little bit big. But again, it really depends on the size of your head. 12 to 14 for no brim. But if you're making a brim like I'm going to be, we are going to need to add 3 to 4 more rows. So we'll come back when that's done. Okay, a total of 17 rows, and this is how we are looking, and we are ready to attach it together. You're gonna wanna pick the inside and the outside. So obviously on this side, you can kind of see that string that we've been weaving to change the color, but on this side, it looks way better. So I'm gonna keep it this way, and that's how we're gonna slip stitch it. I also like to make sure that this line is on the corner there, so the front of the hat just looks better. To get the old color, as you can see, I'm going to be slip stitching with the light blue. So for the dark blue, I'm just going to cut it and leaving a very good amount to weave in after. So all I did to get here was slip stitch and close that off. I did not chain 2 and I did not change the color. So all we're gonna be doing is slip stitching all the way along the top. I take my hook through the first loop on this side, the first loop on the other side, pull the yarn through and pull it through both. Again, through both sides and pull through both. I personally like to work a slip stitch into every single chain across here. I just find it creates a tighter line and makes the ears more prominent. Slip stitching into every chain along here. And coming up to this corner, in order to make that point, you just want to make sure that you are connecting these final 2 little chains. And then I just like to work one into the very corner to help with that point. And once that's done, I like to cut this off, pull this out and tie it off. Give it an extra tie for good luck. And I just cut the string. Next, we come back to that last color. If you changed your color, you're gonna have this right here. Is I take my hook through a different part and pull it through to create that loop, just like we just did with the first color, and tie it off through there. So again, this is the inside of the hat, so I'm not really picky with the end of these strings here because no one's going to see them. So we have our colors down here. If there's ever 2 strings this close together, I just tie them together. Way easier that way. You can also weave it in, it's preference. I find that with the hats, when you stretch it, the weave just ends up coming out, so this is my preference. So now that you have cut all the strings and we are ready to go, all we are going to do is flip her inside out. I like to take my hook or my nail or something, because you're gonna have to push that corner to pop out. And you can kind of tell by that tight slip stitch, it's created like this little shape. That's what we want. And then you can just roll up your brim if you've got one. And we did it. Ain't nothing left but to try it on. And this is what we are looking like. I love it. So addicted to making these hats. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and getting this far. I hope this was informative. Please let me know if there's any other fun crochet projects that you would like to see how to make. And I would love to see your creations, so please tag me below. And until next time, peace!